Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrot.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution.
Each week we interview top artists
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story.
Olive Allen, welcome to Origin Stories.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Olive, I was saying off recording, I have to start with this. You and I collaborated a few weeks ago on a SuperRare editorial. And it was telling the untold story of a crypto art pioneer, which is you, Olive Allen. And I was thinking to myself, when we were speaking to collaborate on that, it was almost like an origin story interview. So even though you're not technically the first episode of Origin Stories, to me, I think you're kind of the first.
Yay! I mean, it's good to be first. I mean, what can I say? I mean, great idea. I think, yeah, you're doing it. You're actually doing it all. I mean, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy. Like, I mean, really happy to be here. Thank you, Roger.
Of course, of course. I was actually just last week, I was saying to Alotta Money in an interview that, and I said this in that episode, I said, I consider you and Olive Allen to be two of those artists who are doing everything and so multi-talented in terms of experimentation and pushing boundaries and just constantly exploring. Like I just get that sense of constant creative exploration coming from you.
Oh, I mean, trying. I have an aspiration to be bigger and better. I mean, in terms of everything I do. So, thank you.
It shows. So Olive, we start the show each time by asking you this question. You can take it wherever you want, whatever means something to you. What is your origin story?
What is my origin story? Hey, I mean, it's long and very twisted, I guess. And I feel like I'm still writing it. You know, what is origin story? I feel like, yeah, I was born, hey, I was a little girl, I was growing up, I went to school, you know, I learned something. I made mistakes. I started making art, I made mistakes making art. Of course, and kept with it. Heard about tech, heard about blockchain, did that, a little bit of that, and then hey, back to art, back to blockchain, combine it all, living life. I don't know, things like that.
That was Cliff's Notes. You just blitzed us through everything.
I mean, yeah.
That was good. Can I go all the way back?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's something that was in the SuperRare editorial, and so I know this already, but I imagine many listening or watching this don't know this yet. But I would love to drop the word Furby on the table and have you take that a little further.
Oh, the Furby, yes. I've been obsessed with Furbies for as long as I can remember. I was growing up in Russia still, and I was a kid. I don't know how old was I. Maybe 7, maybe 8, who knows? I mean, around that age. And I've been seeing those Furby commercials on TV. I mean, oh my God. And I was like, this is the best thing in the world. It talks back to you. It took you, like, those big eyes be like opening like this. I was like, Mom, I really want one. And she was like, no, but I'm not gonna get one. I'm like, why? Okay, and like, probably like I've been seeing them for a good 6 months or so, but finally for Christmas, not for Christmas, we don't celebrate Christmas, for New Year's Eve, Santa Claus, my Father Frost in Russia, like brought me Furby, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, disclaimer, I still believed in Santa Claus till I was 12, all right?
Wait, hold on. In Russia, you said Frost?
Well, Father Frost.
Father Frost?
I mean, it's Ded Moroz. That's how you say in Russian. So it's like intercession is Father Frost.
Is that where Freaky Frost comes from? Oh my gosh.
Who knows the origin story, so that could be always very well twisted. I mean, and we don't celebrate Christmas. So Father Frost comes for the New Year's Eve on December 31st. I mean, it sounds funny when I tell that, but like, hey, it was real. We have the Christmas tree as well, but it's not tied to religion in any way. So the Father Frost comes and brings presents to kids on December 31st. On January 1st, you open your eyes and you check what's down the Christmas tree. You go, oh, bunch of stuff. And that one year, there was a Furby. Yeah, I still have it, by the way. It doesn't talk back to me anymore. But
Used to,
used to, I didn't understand. Like, yeah, it was pretty cool, actually. If you think about that, it was way before its time. I like it talking. I mean, it didn't make much sense, but at the time, that was super cool.
I have to ask, did your Furby speak English or Russian, or did he have a special Furby language?
Furbish. All Furbies speak Furbish. For his special language, I mean, there's a translation that's like a big flat. Like, oh, he said like the blah blah, num num, like it means this, whatever that is. Furbish, that's a language, which is fascinating. So I mean, it's amazing toy. And I guess it stayed with me for quite a time. And yeah, me bringing them back was that like nostalgia. Plus, it was very platform specific, site specific. I like that. I don't know, no pun intended, but it was. I like that's perfect. And it says HYPEBIRDS, HYPEBIRDS. I love that play of words just all came together.
So that is your, so that's the HYPEBIRDS drop that was along with a piece of something, right?
Yes, that was a fun one. Yes.
Yeah. But let's go further back. So let's pull let's rewind the origin story a little bit further. So I wanted to make sure to get Furby in there because I don't know, I love that that road marker in your life, or that you had a friend that meant something to you when you were a kid. And I felt like when we were talking before, that was I'm sure you were very imaginative before then, but it really seemed like your imagination tied into the Furby and to evolving that conversation, and then plays in, of course, to your future work. But
and who knew, right? Sometimes you never know, but you can't connect those going forward, only going backwards, huh?
So let's fast forward then through your experience in blockchain, right, and cryptocurrency, and let's fast forward to the first moment that you think, I am going to tokenize an NFT. How does that happen?
First moment when I decided to tokenize and make it NFT, I was working on my startup. It's been like long-suffering startup called Decadent. I love the brand, I love the name. Nobody else did, but whatever. It was many things before. It was meant to be the art world back in 17, 18. Then it meant to be a gaming startup that went to Silicon Valley with. Still a great idea, I think is going to happen. To open up gaming markets and make assets tradable across chains and across the platforms. I think it's going to happen. So, but back in 2018, it was not going to happen, for sure not. But so yeah, and then I decided, like, what else can I do with it? I really love making art. Hey, I just got an iPad. It just changed my life. It revolutionized everything about my art making process. So why don't I just create assets myself under the brand name and release them on OpenSea? Was the only platform at the time. Pretty much when you can mint stuff yourself. That's what I did. I did a Halloween drop that was only available for 24 hours. It didn't go that well, that smoothly, because it was like going through my own site to OpenSea. It was a bit complicated. Little things didn't like really work in between. So I decided just to, there's supposed to be 13 assets, 13 dredge ones and brain items. And after that drop, that people couldn't really purchase them, I decided to create a second series, like similar assets, but like was number 2 in the image. So I minted several of those and sent them to people, like very randomly, whoever signed up on my website and left their wallet address. So a lot of people still have them. Then the second series.
So they are the first ever Olive Allen NFTs.
Oh yeah, yes. I was back in December, October 31st, 2019. Yeah.
I mean, those are treasures out there.
What a name!
Those are treasures out there. One is the Kool-Aid Man, right?
Yes, and I mean, you have to be very attentive. You have to pay attention. It says in the metadata if it's the first series or the second series. The first series are more valuable because they were under the brand name. It's separate contract address, and I don't know. they were lost for quite a while until like a few months ago when I recovered them on OpenSea, and yeah, I traded them on Rarible. Yeah, some people got lucky and bought like first series ever. Like there's like super unique ones.
It's exciting. I always find it Rarible and OpenSea are never the places that I go first now, but there are so many hidden treasures on each of those sites.
Yeah, 100%, a lot. If you dig deeper enough, you're back. Oh wow, you know it exists. Hey,
exactly.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you run this through your own website. You have the early hiccups in the process. You mint the second batch. You send those out to collectors. Yeah. What's your first thought after that process happens? So you say, okay, I did it, right? I minted my first NFTs. I experienced what I experienced. Do you decide next, I'm going to stick with my own website and continue the brand, or are you going to pivot somewhere else?
So I did my research and I realized that there were not enough volume and action for me to go to venture capital firms and be like, hey, like I have a brand, I mean NFTs, and like give me money. Like to continue that journey, I just didn't see how it was possible at the time, and I don't know. And I'm not the person who'll be like, you know what, in 10 years it's gonna be a billion NFTs, and right now, blah 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 blah. I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe I don't know what it is, but I don't lie shamelessly like that. I'm not shameless, so yeah, it takes a certain type of personality, I guess. So to really like say out things that I'll try are not impossible, like, you know, not even negative or anything, but just, yeah, I didn't want to do that at the time and start focusing on something else. Mm-hmm. I just like, yeah, put my NFT journey on hold for a few months.
Okay.
And I was looking at different sort of ideas or deciding to revive my art career and like follow that path full time. Mm-hmm. Traditional art career, not even has to do with tech or anything, like painting and installation. So yeah, and I ended up combining things after all. I was looking at virtual beings, and that was an interest of mine as well. I think it's gonna be interesting and pretty big, powered by AI. So I mean, it's a theme if you look at it. It's like virtual beings, that talking toys, NFTs. There is something about it, you know. There's a continuity there.
So wait, so maybe actually let me take a step then, because you had mentioned traditional art, right? That you kind of took a step back and you were merging worlds and you were exploring different things. So when does your traditional art showcase line up with this journey that I was looking just at the NFTs, but I'd love to include your traditional art as well.
Right, I always loved art. I was always making art. I was making different paintings. I never really exhibited like growing up or going to school and like living life, whatever. But I started like exhibiting my work, doing like more or less professionally back in 2017, I think, 16. Mm-hmm. So I was painting. I did a few group shows back then, and I did art residency. Yeah, I was kind of like going that traditional art path. But then I was like, I don't know, there was something missing. I was fascinated by tech, and at the time blockchain tech was booming, and I had Bitcoin. I bought some stuff back in the day and forgot about it. Good thing I still had it. And I was like, hey. I mean, I wasted a lot of it. Don't get me wrong, but I had something. Let me put it this way, to incentivize me to go forward. Yeah, so I was like, hey, maybe that's an opportunity to dig deeper into tech and combine art and tech one day. To learn more, you have to really immerse yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did, and blockchain seemed like an easy entryway in the tech world. I mean, not necessarily to do something with heavy tech, but it was one of the facets of technology. Blockchain is a technology essentially. So I started going to conferences, and that's when I started a startup to really learn and immerse myself hardcore in the world of tech. So I wasn't really making that much art at the time. Wish I discovered iPad and Procreate sooner, but oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, and I started making digital art only from my drop. Literally, I made a series. That's my first series, digital art. Funny enough, yeah.
So what was the moment then that you, I don't know, made the decision to come back? So you'd done the first, right? You'd done the first drop and you took a step back for a few months and then you decided to dive back in. So was it something that you felt you had to do? You were just compelled to do it? Or did you notice something that pulled you back into the space?
I was never really like, I never really disappeared. I still believe in NFTs, don't get me wrong. I just like used to like, I don't know, make money, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you know, pay bills, pay rent, and be like, okay, like, yeah. And I started working with a few people. I joined a team that was working on virtual beings in New York. I don't think there was something there yet, but it was quite fascinating. So yeah, I was doing it for quite a few months. It's still early. I don't know. I'm fascinated what's gonna happen. I really want to see what's gonna happen with it. So it's exciting. I'm not long involved, but that was I was doing for a few months. Then yeah, Nifty Gateway guys contacted me. We met back in the day at the NFT New York, the first one. I think the very first one. Oh my god. So and like, oh, why don't you like create a series for our whatever platform? Yeah, and we talked to them about the drops, how to structure, how to do things. I mean, I gave them a bunch of ideas. We shared ideas and etc. So I ended up doing the drop. It was supposed to be released in late January 1st, but it took them quite a while to like release the platform. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes, of course, but they ended up pushing the launch to April and the March. So, and I was part of the second drop and April 2nd or 1st. I don't know. Something about, oh, you know, April was the lockdown already. I changed the collection to reflect the times we're living in. But it's initially supposed to be the bears that are affected by the climate change the most. Koalas and polar bears very differently, but yet severely. So I think they are the poster bears, children, whatever, for the climate change. That still is an important thing to me. And yeah, I modified, I slightly tweaked them before the April launch.
Look at that series. I love that series. Love that series. I look at it, it makes me smile every time. Said this recently on a live stream, but noticed a lot of activity around that series recently. I think people are, obviously it was noticed and probably re-noticed again, but now I really think there are some eyes on it, and I keep seeing it pop up in the activity feed, and very deservedly so. But if you look down the line at all of the bear, I mean, the time and place that we live in now, it's just amazing to see that. Think about the history. Think about you doing that, you know, back when Nifty Gateway launched, back much earlier in this quarantine or pseudo quarantine world that we are living in right now. And you look down the line at those bears, and you look at Essential Bear with Amazon Box, right, and the toilet paper, and you look at Hungry Bear, and you look at Modern Bear with a mask, like cute little bear with the like very concerned eyes and a mask over its face. It's just a very, very interesting series.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. I think it's still relevant, surprisingly. I never thought it would be, but yeah, it really reflects like the times we were living in at the time, and we still are. Don't get me wrong, still are.
Yeah, and I really could see. I mean, I think artwork is incredible for its ability to tell a story, obviously through an artist's lens of what's going on, present time and place. At least, I mean, some artists choose that, right? And we had talked a little bit about that together, and I believe that's your preference, right? Is to focus on the present moment and tell that story.
Absolutely. I think it's super important for an artist to be of her time, to really capture the zeitgeist of what was relevant, what was happening, how it made me feel, how it fits in a generational context, that the generation I'm part of, the millennials. And I don't know, yeah, I think present moment, like what's going on now, it's really, really important. And how can your art not be about it? I think that's what you see, that's what you breathe every single day, pretty much.
And when I think across the NFT space at the current moment, right, and I think about COVID, right, COVID in general, and I think about a representation not only of what COVID is, but of what of the life that we live surrounding it. And people have various levels of concern about it, but obviously no matter what your level of concern, it is changing the way that you conduct your life. And it has changed that for a while. And if I'm putting myself in my future shoes, because, you know, I'm obsessed with the art space, right? If I put myself in my future shoes and I look back at this time and place, I mean, I'm thinking about the Unbearables first in terms of a representation of life or a reflection of life during this time is just what comes to my mind. And I think it's going to stay that way for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I mean, the way of life. I mean, thanks a lot. First of all, I think, yeah, strangely enough, our life has changed for good. A lot of things that we thought were normal are no longer on the radar. I mean, travel restrictions and all that, like the future of work and everything. I think the future of work is the most fascinating facet. Fascinating facet, who says that? Fascinating aspect of all of this, because a lot of companies are working remotely and they're not coming back to doing the work the way they always did. And yeah, the future of labor, the future of art, the future of everything is changing, is going online. It's, yeah, and it just, people realize it makes sense for a lot of companies, especially tech companies. Silicon Valley is emptying out. Yeah, hey.
Much different.
Bye, SF. Yeah, so much different. Things are changing, and yeah, basically, maybe coronavirus really accelerated things that were inevitable. What do you think?
Certain things I agree. I don't know that it was inevitable for cities to be destroyed the way that they have been. Maybe destroyed's too strong of a word, but I think I'm also taking a step forward in the future. We live closer to Philadelphia. We live in near Philadelphia, but just the changes that have taken place in Philadelphia, I think, you know, what's interesting about a city, I think there's a tipping point somewhere. And I think that a city like Philadelphia, maybe New York, definitely San Francisco, are precariously close, if not at that tipping point, where the whole value of living on top of one another is that you're together and close to things, and you can do things, and you can eat out at restaurants, and you can go to stores, and you can arguably just walk out your door and get all of your essentials without having to drive anywhere, right? That's part of the allure of living in city life.
Oh, for sure.
And when this happens, and all of a sudden people start making the decisions one by one to explore, maybe I'll live somewhere else. Maybe I know plenty of people who have moved out of the city of Philadelphia. There's a tipping point somewhere. And, oh, by the way, and all the businesses that are closing, right? Because they can't make it right now. So somewhere along the road, enough people have moved out and enough businesses have closed that the value proposition of the city is no more. And when that moment, if that moment happens, if that tipping point happens, I think a city becomes truly in trouble. And I don't know what city will fall, but I do think there will be one. Right. Yeah, that is the poster child right now.
I think I was coming for San Francisco for quite a time, and no regrets there. It has a lot of issues they were not really solving, and the rent was over the roof and was not worth it. Like, yeah, so like people were just shooting straight up heroin right outside of Twitter headquarters. Hey, yeah, that was the city of San Francisco. Yeah, I mean, it had to change. I mean, in terms of New York, I think it's of course it has changed, but it hasn't changed that much, that drastically. I mean, you cannot really see it inside, but people still dying outside, literally winter time in New York. But I really keep seeing people be like just sitting there and be like freezing, but eating their food, eating their dinner, be like, hey, like we're still New Yorkers, we're gonna go out for dinner, like whatever temperature it is. If it's 20, it's fine. we'll just dress warm, but we'll have our, I don't know, a butcher's door.
Yeah. There is a mindset. There is a New York mindset.
Yeah, for sure. But don't get me wrong. I live in the city of New York, downtown for maybe a good 8 years, 9 years, and that's the first time I really decided to move to Brooklyn and to be closer to my studio space and like have more space. And yeah, I have moved out. I mean, okay, it's 15 minutes away from the city, but still, for me, it's change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I just did.
We'll revisit this in a year, right? We'll revisit this in a year and see where we're all at and see where all the cities are at and what has. I mean, I hope cities are able to rebuild appropriately on their own terms and encourage people to, you know, to still thrive there. So we'll see.
But no, I'm pretty sure some cities will never like go away. Yeah, but it's be interesting to see. Mm-hmm. They're just changing the ways. Like, I don't know, like I feel like New York is becoming London back in the day with the CCTVs and stuff like that. It's fascinating. It's changing, but it's interesting. It's an interesting change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So speaking of cities and crossing that with the Unbearables, I think this is a good time to go into what you are doing for the environment, because you had mentioned why you made certain animal choices, right? Because it was a koala bear and
polar bear.
And the polar bear. So koala bear and polar bear. And then maybe the appropriate place to start here, and I know you probably have these aspirations of impacting the environment prior to this, but maybe a good place to start is Iceland.
Oh, right. Yes, I did artist residency there back in the day. Yeah, it's a fascinating place. It's really, really beautiful. Yeah, I guess I've always been very conscious of the environment. I don't know. I don't eat certain types of meat. I went vegan at some points, but it was not really good for my health. I'm on very limited and almost non-animal diet at the moment. Yeah, I always recycled. I always donated to climate change organizations, and I went to protest to DC when Trump exited Paris Agreement. They're all like the things, like the little things I can. And recently I became a World Wildlife Fund ambassador.
Congratulations.
So I've been like supporting an organization for quite a while. Yeah, little things that I am as an individual can do. Yes, and initially back, what was that, January, when I started working on the Unbearables back then. Yeah, it was supposed to be like, yeah, exploring climate change, and there's two species that's been affected by it. And that's why they're the bears. I mean, nothing to do with the crypto markets, as some people like suggest. And by the way, actually, koalas are not bears. I've learned that not so long ago. They're marsupials. Oops. But everybody thinks it's a bear, but it's
exactly.
Not. A koala is not a bear.
Well, it is called the koala bear, right?
Yeah, I know.
So you figure they might change that, right? Yeah.
I mean, because it's like so cute and bear and cuddly. I mean, hey, it looks like a bear.
Yeah, I think we can overlook that one.
Yeah. So if you were, I mean, if somebody's worried about the crypto market and whatever symbolism, like, hey, buy a koala, it's not a bear. It's fine. You'll be safe.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, funny but not funny. Yeah. So they're the post species for the climate change, post affected both on the brink of extinction. Yeah, and I mean, you remember like the fires in Australia back in February? Yeah, it was devastating. I mean, that was really devastating. And polar bears, I think, is species like permanently affected by climate change. I mean, those poor creatures like literally losing their habitat and all that, go hungry and like traveling, like, I don't know, to the nearest cities to go in like through trash, literally. Sad. It's sad, but.
Well, I think it's amazing. I mean, art with a purpose, right? Art with a purpose. That drop was tied in, and you know, the messaging, and then obviously has extended to present day with you being an ambassador for the World Wildlife Fund. I think it just adds to your story.
Right, I think it's all connected, I guess. Life is art. I mean, for me, my life is art, life is art. I mean, it's all very, it's intervened, of course. It does not like, does not really, yes, so we're well connected. I mean, things are connected. My art and me, my life are connected, of course.
So let's go, while we're on the subject of the Unbearables and art drops, let's fast forward. And you mentioned this earlier, but the HYPEBIRDS drop. And to me, as I'm fascinated with all, you just made me do it. I was fascinated with all facets of art. I was about to say it, and I'll just say it now. I'm fascinated with all facets of art, including the drop mechanics, right? Or the mechanics of putting a series out or putting a sequence of artworks out. And I will say, just like the Unbearables representation of current place and time is the first thing that comes to mind, one of the first drop mechanics that comes to my mind are the unique set of events that you use to tie together the HYPEBIRDS drop with a piece of something. Can you speak to your decisions there?
Well, that was quite an unexpected decision. It was very site specific, and I was preparing for Nifty Gateway. When it's so funny, they say that about installation site specific, but technically my initial job was also site specific because it was perfectly aligned with Nifty Gateway drop and hype machine, and was made for it. I was mindful of it, making the series. I mean, it might seem like a very unexpected combination, but I think that drop was all about is to explore human values, like in hype, and how like we always are always going for like the next best thing, for the shiniest thing of all, and to prove the point. The auction, I mean, the winner of the auction could choose his price. Either gold hybrid or a piece to complete the painting. And of course, I mean, even knowing myself, I would definitely go for the gold and shiny hybrid, truth be told. But so,
well, I guess real quick, just to update.
Yeah, I think.
Well, real quick, just to update what exactly that was, just for anyone who might not know. There was a 196 piece fractionalized painting, and the 195 pieces, the first 195 pieces, were inserted in packs, right, with HYPEBIRDS. And you opened a pack and you either got a piece of the painting or you got a various chance of pulling HYPEBIRD. But the 196th piece, a very critical piece, right, in the center of the painting, close to the center, a little off center of the painting, was reserved. And then that was the decision to be made in the auction, right? Is you either owned the 196th piece to complete the painting, or you owned the incredibly shiny, cute gold HYPEBIRD. And if you chose the HYPEBIRD, that 196th piece was lost forever, and a beautiful fractionalized painting had a permanent hole in it.
Yep, and it still does. It has a permanent hole. It's a black square instead of a tile. Yeah, there's some beauty. I mean, yeah, that was all tied together. Of course, I almost got not allowed to do such thing. I don't know. I think one of the twin brothers founders like really freaked out about it. Be like, oh my god, they're gonna be like identical pieces in the packs. Oh my god, like what the collectors are gonna say. I'm like, chill, man. Look up conceptual art. You'll like get enlightened. You love something. So like barely made it. My artwork barely made it in the form we know it today, and thanks to Tyler Winklevoss. I mean, if not the guys, then my work would never see the light of day in the way I intended it to be. So it worked out at the end.
It worked out in the end. I would say it definitely did. And much like the bears are on the activity feed, I have seen some pieces of something on the activity feed. And so people, clearly, it is still something that is relevant. But maybe now we can jump off into, so I mentioned the diversity of Olive Allen, right? And so I think we've covered the hype beast in Olive Allen, the drop mechanics of Olive Allen. Like, I like to call you the drop OG. I know you don't love the term OG, but it's just something that sticks in my head. But if we move off of that for a second and we go someplace else, maybe we could take a journey over to SuperRare.
SuperRare, sure.
Do you want to talk about your interesting experimentation with two of your pieces over there?
Two of my pieces over there on SuperRare. Which ones?
Well, I was thinking, okay, well, I guess go wherever you want. I want to go wherever you're passionate about over on SuperRare.
SuperRare, what I'm passionate. I actually, strangely enough, I haven't done enough work on SuperRare. Oh yeah, I minted. I think I minted one of my like long lost drop that didn't happen on NFT. I minted the final one of the pieces that they didn't release on SuperRare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's VR Time. Basically, that's a series. No one is available. Everyone's busy. I don't know. It's a really like strange long lost drop. That I still like, but I've never released. So basically, that's the paintings. I mean, it's actually a painting because I paint those ones. I paint on my iPad actually by hand using the airbrush to like create it specifically like for my work. So basically, the creatures are not facing the audience, sitting and minding their business, basically playing a game, watching TV, or virtual reality, long lost, whatever. So, and the gradual, I mean, not gradual, just different activities that keep us busy and keep us occupied nowadays. The first one, I think everyone was a bear, so I don't know, playing with his phone and like doing that AR stuff, blah, blah, blah. What else? Second one is the elephant playing a game on his Switch. Nintendo Switch, and third one, what was the third one?
Is the third one the VR headset, or is it the fourth?
That's the fourth one. That's the fourth one. There's a fourth, like the final form. Oh no, the third one is Furby. How could I forget that?
Can't forget Furby.
And just captivated by the shiny TV screen, just staring at it and really not noticing anything else. Yeah, and the fourth piece that I minted on SuperRare, that's the only piece that is live right now. Yes, VR Time, or the pangolin. Again, choice is quite specific there. Is putting on VR headset, and his reality around him changes completely. And hey, he has all of his friends just like popping up on the screen and like going from one place to another. Yeah, it's and that like shiny VR net, symbolic to that space. You always see like some sort of like grid or net when you go into virtual space. Yeah, I think that's the final form, from the final pastime of ours that will take up, I don't know, a lot of space in our lives. That's where we will ultimately end up, virtual reality. Our reality will become completely virtual. So
it's very true. I think it's going there, if not already there in some ways, shapes, and forms.
Yeah, and so of course, and no one is available. Everyone's busy, even though kind of available, but not. Strange thing. So yeah, and yeah, I'm minting the previous three that I've mentioned on OpenSea, using a very interesting system. I'm putting those three works inside of the vault. That is represented by one NFT. That is separate artwork. Yeah, it is a separate artwork, but I'm certainly doubting myself. It's still separate artwork. So basically, to get that, you have to purchase that, vault that is represented by the cover work. And you have an option to open it or leave it be the way it is. I mean, it's interesting. So you can open it and get the NFTs, and I think sell separately, something like that, or you can keep the vault. But if you open the vault, this cover image will be burned forever. Yes, that's Emblem Finance. That's a pretty interesting system they have. So,
and And that is such a great example of you pushing boundaries again. And what I find so fascinating about an emblem vault and using that, one item in the NFT news recently was Beeple's painting Crossroads, which centered around the presidential election, finding its permanent form and home. It was programmed to change at inauguration when it officially passed to one candidate or another, and you knew what form it was going to take, one or the other. And so the original was then lost forever, and the other form was lost forever, and now it is what it is. But what I find so interesting about your emblem vault and an emblem vault in general is it gives the end user, the collector, the option. It doesn't change on a date. It doesn't change based on an event. It changes based on his or her wishes, in that you're presenting a cover art, which is unique and an NFT in its own right. And then inside it, trapped and non-visible are three, you know what they are, but they're not, you know, they're in there. There are 3 NFTs in there, and you have the decision to make at any point in time, do I forever burn the cover and get the 3 out, or do I retain the cover and then have them, you know, magically trapped inside?
Yes. Church is always doing that. It's interesting. So that's why I decided to try it out. I mean, why not? And that's what blockchain is for, I guess, for that experimentation. I like the mechanics of things, and I mean, technology is pretty fascinating for you, like, really dive deeper and understand how it works. It takes me a while. But when I understand it, oh wow, that's pretty interesting. How do you explain that to people? Actually, I don't know. But let's see what happens.
Another place you push some boundaries is over on Async. You know, while we're on the subject of trying different things and art that changes, you know, based on certain events or certain place and time. Can you talk about your Async piece surrounding Halloween?
Oh, Hallowcracy. It's merged towards Halloween plus democracy. I mean, it was dedicated to presidential election, of course. Halloween was so, I think, but it was released on Halloween night. Maybe December, October 30th or 31st, I don't remember. So that's why it's there. Basically all the horrors that's were going on at the time. And yeah, I mean, basically horrors of the election process and all of that. And that piece encouraged the viewer to go vote in the daytime and like to change that horrible reality into something bigger, better. And the night piece is where all the crazy things like come out, all the horrors of current situation, like Trump administration and what was happening. So that's the nighttime piece. After seeing all the horrors, like people wake up and see a motivational thing, saying like, hey, there's nothing to see there. Hey, go vote, go make a difference. Day and every day, like go do something. Basically, that piece says.
Go do something.
It's like spooky.
It is. It does have a spooky feel to it. The nighttime side of it.
Well, in reality, it is spooky sometimes, you know.
Absolutely. Let's go the opposite of spooky. Let's go to something fun and different and joyous and collaborative. And something that I personally got really wrapped up into, and that was over on MakersPlace when it was time for the holiday season. And whatever you were celebrating, even Olive, if you were celebrating New Year's, right around that time.
I celebrate everything, you know.
Good.
Holiday, I celebrate it.
But you collaborated with Twisted Vacancy, which I thought was such an interesting combo. You know, 2 of my favorite artists, both very apparent. You know, I love that when there's a collaboration and it's very clear who the 2 artists were involved. You can see, you know, that landscape backdrop of Twisted Vacancy, and then the foreground cuddly creatures popping up out of the present boxes.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That's a fun collaboration. I think my only collaboration to date was another artist in space. Or I mean, any other artists on the first place. Yeah, Twisted, just amazing. I always loved his work. It was very crazy colors. He had a very distinctive pop art style. And yeah, randomly, I was just like, hey, let's do something together. Let's do something for Christmas. I don't know if you celebrate or not, like, doesn't matter. Like, hey, let's do something, and I don't know, like small drop, like last minute surprise drop, and encourage people to get those things as presents to their friends and send NFTs to, I don't know, others. Yeah, and let's make them cool, bright, and festive, and yeah, so we did.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and I wrote like mini stories about each of the character, and the backdrop is an NFT, super secret NFT factory. Yeah, so yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed actually making that drop. It was really fun.
It was very joyous. And I remember when you announced it, it was one of those, you know, certain things you get hints that are coming, right? That one just hit me out of the clear blue sky. You know, I had no idea anything was going on. And I think I saw your tweet first and it was, oh my gosh, you know, this is happening and so soon. And here we go. I just remember a lot of in the moment excitement surrounding that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, that was a fun job. And MakersPlace team did an amazing job, actually, very last minute. Yeah, they sent out emails, they wrote a blog post. I mean, they were really, really on point. So it was a great experience. I actually want to do something else on MakersPlace very soon. It was a great experience, really, really on point.
And I thought it was so funny. One of those characters, by the way, that popped out of the gift box or the present box was named Mr. Freaky Frost. And that's why I was saying earlier, is it tying back to Freaky Father, what was it?
Father Frost.
Father Frost, there it is, Father Frost.
You know, I didn't think about it that way when I was making, but hey, maybe, hey, everything's possible. Everything's tied together at the end. I mean, your subconscious mind has the weights of its own. Yeah. Sometimes.
So speaking of toys, I am so curious as to what is in your mind in the future, or even if it's a maybe, or what you can share surrounding MadToy Junction.
Well, I want it to be a place in the metaverse. Which metaverse? All of them. They're all pretty interesting. So I want it to be like a place to exhibit things, to do something funny, like an installation space. Just, I want it to be a space because the logo is a store on the, I mean, if you see, I don't know if you can see it on Twitter or not, or OpenSea. Yeah, it's a store and I want it to be a space for a long time. I've been procrastinating to create metaverses, but I'm drafting certain things. So I really want it to be in a not physical, metaverse space. It is the place. It's a place to create things, make things of my own, not my own, like do themed exhibits, kind of like to do it. I even have an idea to do a themed experience, like if you know, like those ones we had in New York or LA, they were very popular. Like, I don't know, museum of ice cream or something like that, or like something for the fashion week. When you go through like rooms and you have like really like funky Instagram moments when you can, I don't know, take a photo, you can play. I remember like one of those experiences, like I had like I don't know why I remember that, just came to my mind, like a huge jar, like not a jar, even like a pool full of bears. Like something, like a giant inflated duck, I don't know, something outrageous like that. So I want MadToy Junction to be that. But since the physical space are not available and take all the times, metaverse is a place. Hey, I really like Somnium space right now, actually, and Decentraland CryptoVoxels are the ones I'm looking at the moment. So I've got my lens and all of them.
Oh, nice! You do.
I just have to sit down and build the way I want it to be.
Right.
Maybe I'll just open one experience on one metaverse and then merge into another one. So I feel like I have to come up with a better plan. Now that we speak about it.
There's something there, Olive. I mean, from my perspective, you know, I'm so drawn. Obviously, I spoke very highly, and I mean it. I have a bear and a bird, and I don't know. It's just a very, it's yours, right? they're so very clearly yours. They're so very clearly fun. They're so very clearly tied together in certain ways. And I like with hearing you speak about, you know, a large tub of bears and a big duck. There's something there. It's colorful. It's fun. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see whenever the time comes, whether it's one metaverse, whether it's multiple metaverses that are aligned. I think I could see that concept really taking off.
Yes, thank you. Hope it's going to be fun.
Yes.
Hope it's going to be soon, and hope it's going to be fun.
Whenever the time comes, we'll be ready. Olive, ready to play a game?
Sure.
So the game is called the Lightning Round. And what it really is me throwing 10 topics at you. And the idea is to say the first thing that comes to mind. And
wow. Okay.
Any topic that you want to go deeper into, you are more than welcome to do so and kind of hit pause and just go off on a tangent. But otherwise, we can just keep it rolling.
All right. Sounds good. Perfect.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Lightning round. Number 1. Green, not Grinchy.
Okay. Yes. Holiday drop. Yeah. Christmas times. Christmas Furby.
Okay. Number 2. Your favorite piece of art that is not your own.
My favorite piece of art. Oh my God, I have so many. I don't know what it comes to mind, but the first one is Edvard Munch Scream. You know that one?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I don't know why, but I always thought that. I was like, this is just so dope.
Number 3, The Matrix.
50-50 might be real, might be not. We might believe in it.
Simulation.
Simulation theory. 50-50. I mean.
Number 4, Async Art.
Has a great potential, but still not cool.
But it has cool facets to it, right? Are you saying not cool in like a
in terms of like a hypey way, like it's more like requires like extra digging, I don't know, extra nerding out in it. You know, it's not that obvious. Yeah, but I think it has a great potential down the line. And actually one of my favorites, to be honest.
Some brilliant artworks, and the collaborations that have been put together on Async are like nowhere else.
Very underrated.
There you go, underrated. Number 5, Cargo.
Cargo, very experimental. Yeah, I think DeFi. I don't know, decentralized finance. That's what comes to mind. NFT plus DeFi. I think they want to like breach over those two. Yeah, I mean also innovative, nice team. I like the guys.
And you did something there recently, which was very interesting.
Gems. Yes, basically it's taken. Yeah, DeFi, decentralized finance mechanism, and NFT as rewards. Pretty interesting. They're very experimental and cool.
Number 6, something or a concept that you have not tackled yet, but that you eventually want to explore.
Yeah, as we talked about those spaces, I want to explore spaces and experiences within those virtual spaces. That's super interesting to me. What else I haven't? Oh my God, I haven't done a lot of things I want to do. I have a list. I have my bucket list that's like keeps filling up with new ideas and stuff. I want to release my new character, Mr. Bull. I haven't, I mean, he's real. He's like keeps popping up. I feel like he wants to be the first one.
Oh.
So I might just like give him life. I mean, next week, this week, who knows?
This is exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah. What else? Oh my God, so many things, so many cool things. I don't even know where to start. Like super programmable artwork that like pulls data from multiple sources and where it all comes to life, something crazy like that. Layered, I don't know, life installation of like crazy things, public art. That's something I'm really interested in doing one day. yeah, when I grew up, so many good things you can do.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see where you choose to go next. Number 7, you talked about your first collaboration with Twisted Vacancy. What is your, not necessarily next, but in the future, what is your dream collaboration? It has to be realistic, has to be someone who's alive and in the space, like a possibility, but who is that
in
dream?
Space, has to be in the space.
Yeah, let's stick in the space.
Oh yeah, I want to collaborate with a number of artists. Like there are so many talented people in the space. I don't know. Collaborations are very hard for me always because I'm the only child. I feel like it's like I don't know. For me, it's always easy to do my stuff myself. But collaborations are really it's a new challenge for me, honestly. It's something I would like to do more of. Who comes to mind right now? XCOPY. A lot of money for some reason, as you said, like really people who are deep in the space, like real crypto artists. Because there are a lot of people who come in and out of the space, be like, okay, now I'm selling, cool, I'm in space, and I'm not selling, like, okay, bye. Later, I have a bunch of clients lined up already, so it's fine. Yeah, and someone like from the 3D world. Yeah.
That's a good start. I would love, and you referred to it, I said it, I'd love to see Olive and A Lot of Money. I think that would be a really, really special collaboration. Like I said, 2 people pushing boundaries, experimenting, a lot of knowledge across a lot of different facets of the space. So that's a thumbs up. That's a +1. I would be watching whatever platform that was on.
Who knows? It takes 2. If a lot of money is down, I'm down.
Okay. You heard it here. Let's go number 8. What work of art of yours is being slept on right now? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about money. It could be about the eyes on it, or the eyes that you didn't feel like maybe it wasn't the right time and place for this specific work of art. But what comes to mind?
What comes to mind? Oh my God. What comes to mind? I guess, yeah, my long lost drop, like VR Time is a cool artwork. Like, yeah, I feel like not too many people like really know about its existence. It's really cool. It's very festive and nice. I like it a lot. I mean, Walt, but I haven't minted it yet, so it's fine. But by the time the podcast will be released, I probably will. So yeah, that work. In general, I think Furbies, my HYPEBIRDS, I think that they're really, really underpriced, and you can still get like one for very, very cheap. And yeah, there are not too many of them, and I think they're so cool. Seriously, I don't know why people are sleeping on them still. Yeah, I think that's a signature character of mine, definitely. I mean, yeah, definitely you should get one. Like whoever's watching this podcast,
could be a rush on HYPEBIRDS after this. There have been a rush on bears recently, so maybe there's a rush on HYPEBIRDS.
I mean, there should be. They're so cool, actually. They are really hypey. I mean, hey, if you like hype, you like the Furbies, like get one. That's my signature character. I think I've seen someone like also making a Furby and minting it on SuperRare not too long ago. I was like, okay, somebody's copying you, all right. So it means like, hey, there's something there.
Yes.
So that's kind of like a pleasant surprise in a way.
Yeah. Hey, if you're being copied, it's probably because you're onto something special.
Yeah, I believe so. Definitely.
Let's go number 9. What artist, so that was your art. Now what artist that is not you is being slept on right now?
In the space.
In the space. Who do you see doing fantastic things that you think deserves a little more attention than they're getting?
I think original trash artists, like trash art movement. I think these guys sell art, the crypto art. In fact, if you think about that, they were pivotal for the movement, and people now that collectors coming into space who really kind of don't know much about the history of it, and they always go like the newest, the shiniest, the brightest, whatnot.
Yeah,
that's like to go for like this week's drop or for pack. I don't know if some other people still buy pack. I haven't really been active on Twitter for like almost months. I don't know, 50-50.
Yeah, for sure.
So people go for like, so to say, people go for like the easy bets or like the easy choices, like they kind of like heard, I don't know. But like trash artists, like I don't know, people like, I don't know, Second Realm, like J Gillette, like Max Osiris, like those guys, like, hey, they are the crypto art. Truth be told, they're cool. You know, they care, they were tokenizing some stuff, and yeah, eventually they came up with a really cool stuff.
I'm gonna have to get a list. I'll have to get a list from you, because I'd love to dig in a little bit there and go into it, and then maybe, you know, put a tweet out after this and give them all a shout out.
Yeah, for sure. They are definitely the major part of the crypto art movement. I don't think a lot of people realize that right now, but hey, they are the movement.
Mm-hmm. That's what's so interesting, right? There's so many, you kind of like we talked about Rarible and we talked about OpenSea. There are so many stones to overturn and see what's on the other side, and it's just endless. It's endless how many treasures, what from both the works of art and from the artist's perspective.
No, for sure, 100%. There are so many, but in the sea of those stuff, it's hard to like really see the real gems. You really have to dig very, very deep.
Exactly. But we can help with that, at least when it comes to the artists that you mentioned. Let's go to number 10. If you could instantly acquire, and we're thinking the Matrix, we're thinking simulation, right? We're thinking you can insert a chip immediately and you can acquire any other artist's skill set to instantly infuse with your own. Who is it and why?
I never thought about it like that. Interesting. Hey, like any artist in space, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or you know what? You can go anywhere you want. Any skills. Really, let's do this. Any skill set out there, you could instantly acquire it, insert it, infuse it with everything that you already have going on. What do you choose?
Okay, so let's start with Jeff Koons' ability to promote his art and sell it. Definitely, like, yeah, he's the best salesman of all. Definitely, and I mean his sense of confidence, for sure, 100%. That's number one skill set I'd like to acquire.
Boom, there we go.
What else? Second of all, what else do I really need? I mean, that's pretty much it. Let's throw in some amazing painters, like who's I know, like when they put me on the spot, like I don't know, I go blank. I'm like, who's the amazing painter? I know so many, but like I can't remember any right now. Isn't it crazy? Right? I can't even remember one painter. What's wrong with me? I'm brain dead today. Okay.
Are you thinking in the space or out of the space?
I'm trying to combine those two and like see who you know what amazing painter are in the space from outside world, but nothing comes to mind, so that's why I'm very confused. So yeah, I should pick one or the other, right? Okay, I think my skill set of the space. I really like those guys making those extended 3D videos, like quick films. Who would be like Alessio with the Vecchi? I think he did like a few cool films.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a combination of After Effects plus video editing skills plus 3D creation. I don't know. I don't care about 3D as much, but like combining like making something into a video, into a small tiny film. This is cool.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for Alessio.
Right. Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
They have a lot of effects. I think, yeah, video work, that's something I would like to learn more about. I feel like it's really on my bucket list, but somewhere not even like the first priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. I think that's really interesting.
Eventually.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah, one day.
One day. Yeah, and of course I want to improve my painting techniques, painting skills. I would like to, I don't know, and my salesmanship craft. I guess like, I mean, Andy Warhol and Jeff Koons. Yeah.
Like, I think it's the perfect answer. And again, it just speaks to the diversity of Olive Allen. The fact that your mind immediately goes to all these different crafts and then all the mechanics that are around them. I like that you're focused on the entire story that is being told from the moment that you say something's going to happen to the moment it's structured, to the moment it's delivered, to the moment that the art itself is collected and appreciated. I appreciate that.
No, it's super important. I mean, everything's art. What is art? Everything's art. Like sell it to present. I mean, that's why I respect Pac for who he is. You know, I don't like his art. I mean, I don't know. It's not my style, my thing. But yeah, he's a salesman. He's a marketing guy. I respect. That's a skill. That's a skill. Like, and Jeff Koons is the same thing. I respect that, and I think it's cool. It's bold. Like, especially Jeff Koons, like going for like really crazy ideas and things. Like, okay, it's bold. You sold it. Like, hey man, like you made people like pay you crazy amounts of money for the balloon dog sculptures and like prepay and be put on waiting list for those. Like, kudos. Like, hey, made it.
Yep.
You made something. You know, that's a skill.
Yeah, it is. It's a different skill set altogether, and to see some of those who are able to infuse those skill sets really does vault everything up into the stratosphere.
For sure.
Yeah. So Olive, we open with what is your origin story, and we close by saying that today is tomorrow's origin story. And so where is tomorrow going to take you?
Who knows? We shall see where tomorrow is going to take me. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. That was fun.
It was an absolute pleasure. And remember, always remember, you're like episode 0. You know, back in the day when I used to collect comic books as a kid. Some of them later in my collection days, they used to do episode 0, which was like before the origin, even before number 1. Right. And it was a very prized issue to have, number 0 as opposed to number 1. Actually, funny to tie it into the crypto art space today. The CryptoCubes project, there are 256 cubes, but it's 0 through 255. And actually, funny enough, Pac owns cube 0.
Maybe it's Pac's project. Is it like, what is this? Interesting. I haven't heard of it.
It's not Pac's project. It's Han's project. He's I own some cubes.
I like a conspiracy theory.
You're starting conspiracy theories. I know Han. He's a great guy. Definitely up and coming. I was going to say an up and coming artist, but I think he's there. I think he's just having made it and getting better and better and better. But that project is taking off. But what made me think of it is, again, episode 0, cube 0, episode 0. That's you, Olive Allen. And thank you so much for being that. And then now coming in a little bit later to do an origin story.
Yes, I mean, thanks for having me. Hey, perfect timing. I think it is the perfect timing. Sometimes episode 0 just like appears, right? Out of nowhere. Another verse. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Roger. I mean, like, I enjoyed our collaboration so much. And thanks for having me again.
Of course. Yeah. And when there's something monumental down the road, I hope you'll consider coming back again for a follow-up.
Of course. If I'm invited, I'm back.
It's an open invite anytime. I'll talk to you soon, Olive.
Yes, sounds good. Perfect. Bye.